We are going to go ahead with chapter 2, and in this session we're going to deal with the constitutional design. Like in this picture you can see, it is the heart and soul of the Indian Constitution, that is the preamble. In order to begin with the constitutional design, let us first see the democratic constitution of South Africa. Let us first go through the concept of the struggle against the apartheid regime. What is apartheid? Apartheid is a name of a system of racial discrimination that is very unique to the South African nation, imposed by the white Europeans. So during the 17th and the 18th centuries, there were certain trading companies from Europe that occupied South Africa with arms and force, leading to its colonization. So whatever happened in the case of India happened with South Africa as well. So the system of apartheid divided the people and labeled them based on their skin color. That is why it is also called as racial discrimination. But unlike India, many whites that had settled in South Africa became the local rulers. In India, we didn't have them ruling our country. We didn't have any kind of rulers, the white rulers that ruled India. We just had a certain company called East India Company. But in South Africa, they literally had rulers ruling them. So let's see the three types of racial groups that were in South Africa. Right? The first was the natives. The natives comprised about 3/4 of the population of South Africa and were called the blacks. The second thing was the mixed races, also called the colored. And the third category was the migrants, predominantly from India. The white rulers treated all non-whites as inferiors. So there was a superior and an inferior kind of complex here. Okay, let's see what kind of complex this was. There was no voting rights for the non-whites. The apartheid system was particularly oppressive for the blacks. Like for example, what kind of oppression was followed? They were forbidden from living in white areas. They had a separate area that they could live in, and they could not reside with the white areas. They could not work in white areas, and they could work only if they had a permit. A concept of segregation was included. So what is this concept? Let's see. Transport, hotels, hospitals, schools and colleges, libraries, cinema halls, public toilets were all separate for the whites and blacks. So all the kind of public goods which is supposed to be applicable to everyone, it was differentiated. So they were separate for the black people and it was separate for the white people. This is the kind of signboard that was attached wherever the whites stayed. Let's see what led towards the new constitution in South Africa. The background of it. So we've seen what kind of oppressive measures were being followed. So because of the oppressive measures, many protests and struggles started against the regime. African National Congress was a kind of a political entity that led the struggle against the policies of segregation. So this Congress involved many worker unions and Communist Party who opposed the apartheid and played a leading role in this struggle. Eventually, the government realized that they could no longer keep the blacks confined and it could not keep repressing them over and over again. So the white regime changed its policies. So all the discriminatory laws were repealed, they were removed, and ban on political parties and restrictions were lifted. At the midnight of 26 April 94, the new national flag of Republic of South Africa was unfurled, marking the newly born democracy in the world. Thus, the apartheid government came to an end, paving way for the formation of a multiracial government. So let's see the role of Nelson Mandela. Who is he and what kind of role did he play in removing this regime? This was Nelson Mandela being tried for treason by the white South African government. He and 7 other leaders were sentenced to life imprisonment in 1964 for daring to oppose the regime. He spent around 28 years in South Africa's most dreaded prison, Robben Island. This is a statement that speaks of his courage and his struggle against this kind of oppression. You can take a look at this box. So let's see how the transition took place. So in the words of Mandela, let's see what he has to say on this extraordinary transition. Take a look at this box again, read it for yourself, and you will understand his kind of struggle and his kind of method into transforming South Africa. After 2 years of discussion and debate, the South African nation came out with one of the finest constitutions which gave to its citizens the most extensive rights available in any country. They agreed that everybody should become a part of the solution, whatever they might have done or represented in the past. A state that has been denounced by the entire world in 1994 as the most undemocratic one is now considered as a model of democracy. So what led to this entire transition? It was the determination of the people of South Africa to work together to transform bitter experiences into binding glue of a rainbow nation is what brought about this entire transition. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and also join the YouTube live classes for JEE and NEET coaching. Also, hit us up on the mobile app that's available on Google Play and the App Store. Thank you. Hope you had a nice session. See you in the next session.